And I walked in, I said, I know you don't know me, but do you have any interest in selling your shop?
You can't have an amazing wedding without amazing wedding attire. So today I'm here with Cami from Aurora Bridal. You have been providing wedding attire to Brevard County and beyond for a long time. So what got you into the business? When did you start?
It's been 28 years, November 1st. I always wanted to be in bridal. It was my written down goal when I was 18. It was written in a book that I wanted to own a bridal shop by the time I turned 30. Nobody would hire me because they would say, what do you want to do when in 5 years? Where do you see yourself? And I said, oh, in a store. And they're like, oh, I'm not hiring you then. So I just studied, and I was like a lifelong subscriber to Brides magazine in the days that there were still magazines. And I did everything but bridal. I worked in my father's business. I worked as a wholesale rep for toys and gifts, and I was traveling. I was pregnant with my third child. And I'm driving, getting ready to go on another long trip for my repping job. And I pulled into Aurora Unique Boutique at the time was the name. And because I'd been hearing a lot about her. And I pulled in, it was this little tiny shop, about 900 square feet, very dark. And I walked in, I said, I know you don't know me, but do you have any interest in selling your shop? And apparently she had a bad day. So she said, let's go to the back and talk. That was in September. We closed on my birthday, November 1st, 1995. So for my 30th birthday, I closed on the bridal shop.
You wrote it down, you made it happen.
I made it happen. And the first day I worked in bridal was November 1st, 1995. So thankfully, the previous owner stayed on to teach me. And I was 7 months pregnant. So it was a challenge at first, but we got through it.
It's amazing. And here we are 28 years later. And before I did any weddings 10 years ago, I knew about Aurora Bridal. If you need a dress, if you need wedding attire, that's the place to go.
Thank you. Well, we do have the largest selection in the area, and my husband doesn't love that, but I do.
Brides can come in and they're going to find something that they love.
I run the gamut from every kind of bride, from traditional to boho to gothic, you name it, we can do it.
And so it kind of starts there, right? You get engaged, maybe you have a ring, maybe not. And then shortly after, we got to find the dress. What is that like, meeting brides that are planning their wedding for the first time?
Every time it's exciting because we get to be a part of such a special life moment when they're choosing their gown. But they'll schedule an appointment to come in. We reach out to them with an interview form where they can give us some details and maybe a clip to their Pinterest, a link to their Pinterest boards, so that we get an idea for their sense of style. What kind of look, what kind of feel, what kind of vibe they want for their wedding. And then when they come in, we sit with them and, we don't shove them into the racks. We sit with them and we chat with them because it's very overwhelming to look at over 500 different styles of gowns that we have hanging on our walls. So we pull the gowns for them based on what they're saying, and then we start putting gowns on them, and they're telling us, I like the top, but I don't like the bottom. I like the bottom, I don't like the top. And the more they talk to us, the more we can go and just run and grab another dress because we know every dress on those racks by name. Watching their body language and the emotions that they're expressing, you really can center in on what is going to make them feel beautiful as well as beautiful.
It does sound like you really listen. You listen for the priorities. You do a lot of preparation beforehand. But there's probably a lot of misconceptions when brides first come in because this may be the one and only time they've ever done bridal dress shopping, although they may have imagined it forever, right? So what is kind of the number one misconception or things you're always kind of working on educating your brides with?
It's not like say yes to the dress. Everybody doesn't have to be snippy. But one of the big misconceptions is that they're going to cry. Some girls do, absolutely. And some moms, a lot. But some girls just find that they're not criers, and that's okay. You still have the right feeling. And when they say that you'll know, really is true. You tend to know when you're in the right dress. I would say the biggest misconception is that if they don't cry, they can't say yes, which isn't the case. I mean, there's just people that they're studying themselves so hard, and they can't get past studying themselves to feel the emotion. So there's a lot of variables.
I know exactly what you mean about that. Sometimes people can look amazing and everyone else can see it, but sometimes that person can only see the small flaw that they're kind of...
We're all so hard on ourselves that is all she's looking at is that one thing in the mirror, and you have to back her up and say, close your eyes. I always joke and say, have some ginger, like you do at a Japanese restaurant, eat some ginger, cleanse your palate, close your eyes and open your eyes again. Because sometimes you just have to adjust how you're seeing yourself.
Where do you often see it in the planning process? Is it the first thing, or do you see and feel a lot of people, hey, we've got our venue, or we've got a date, or maybe they don't have that?
It's the first or second thing. It's either the venue's first or we're first. Kind of those two things vary. I have had a couple girls come that aren't even engaged yet. That's always good. But typically the engagement is first. Then the venue can determine how she wants, what her vibe of the wedding is, so how the whole feel of the wedding will be. So often the venue's the first stop, and then us, once they have that venue nailed down. But they need to shop early.
So managing a budget is a big consideration with every part of the wedding. How do you kind of handle that? What are your first conversations with your brides to kind of get them in the right space?
Well, a lot of misconception about bridal gowns is that they can see it at a store, any store, and then go online and find it for $200 or $300. Because once you're a bride, you get nailed for social media. Your ads just immediately change, and they'll start seeing these ads of designer dresses, the designer picture, with this cheap price. It's usually just from some cheap overseas website. They spend a ton on advertising using illegal photographs, copyrighted photographs from the designers. So the girls think they're actually getting that designer dress when they're not. And it happens over and over and over. So it's important to know that if it seems too good to be true, it's too good to be true, which is a classic saying in all things internet.
It's a really good point. We were speaking to a makeup artist, and she was talking about, as far as value goes, the hair and makeup is one of the most important things you can get because it's going to make you feel confident. It's going to make all your pictures look great. And it's the same with the dress. Thousands of photos, many minutes of beautiful wedding footage in this dress. And you may only wear it for one day, but it's going to be something you're going to remember and have
always
forever.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that people talk about.
What's your advice for the alteration process? And do you guys do that in-house, or do other people do it? How does that work?
I have a seamstress that's been with me since day one. So she's been with me for 28 years, and she's fantastic. We sell a lot more wedding gowns than we can actually alter. So we can't do them all. So I do have a trusted list of referrals. If our schedule doesn't work for your schedule, we can refer you out to other alteration specialists. But we do offer in-house alterations, and it's the most important thing we tell people every single time. Every text, every letter that we send out says, don't forget your shoes. We can't do anything without your shoes. You have to have your shoes, because everything's based on your hem.
So you have a massive selection of bridal gowns, but you do more than that. Tell me more. What all do you offer?
We offer wedding gowns, bridesmaid dresses, flower girl dresses, mother of the bride and groom, aunt, uncle, whoever might else want to wear a dress. We can provide them all. We do quinceanera, and we also provide menswear, so they can rent or purchase their suits or tuxedos from us. So we offer it all, and when they get their wedding gown with us, with the bridal package, they get discounts on all those items.
Awesome. One-stop shop.
One-stop shop. Accessories as well.
How can people find you? Obviously, you're right there on Aurora and Wickham, but you have a website, your Facebook.
We have a website. We have at aurorabridal.com. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok are all at Aurora Bridal. So it's pretty easy to find us.
Awesome. Well, Cami, thank you for having a conversation with us. I learned a lot.
Thanks for having me.
And we can't wait for our next bride that comes from Aurora Bridal.
Be sure and tag us.
Absolutely.
All right.